Although things have quieted down some with the onset of COVID-19, make no mistake, the great console war hasn't ended. It's merely on hold. With both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X plumping for a holiday release, the likelihood of a Christmas truce is vanishingly slim, and chances are we'll be at home for Christmas, with a bad case of trench thumb. Having looked at the PlayStation 5's offerings last time, it's time to cross over no man's land and find out what Microsoft is preparing for their devastating salvo. To begin with, the Xbox Series X itself is a beefy machine, packing a custom-designed CPU founded on AMD's Zen 2 architecture. It's got 4 times the power of the Xbox One X, a Navi-based GPU powered by AMD's latest RDNA graphics tech, clocking in at 12 teraflops, and makes full use of hardware-accelerated ray tracing. On top of that, Microsoft is fully committed to both backwards and forward compatibility with their smart delivery system, not only allowing games from the original Xbox to be played on the Series X, but also allowing games bought on the Xbox One X to be automatically upgraded to their Series X version. So let's check out our list of the hotly anticipated games potentially coming to the Xbox Series X. The Xbox flagship title accompanying the Series X launch is no surprise, but details on the gameplay are still somewhat sparse at present. With the first look at gameplay promised in July, developer 343 Industries have, however, promised that the game will be a spiritual reboot, concluding the story of the Reclaimer trilogy, while refreshing the palette with a return to the heart and soul of the Halo series. It'd be surprising if Halo Infinite didn't come out when the Series X does, during this year's holiday season. Ninja Theory managed to create something truly remarkable with HELLBLADE: SENUA'S Sacrifice, an exploration into the reality of living with psychosis in a world that doesn't recognize mental health issues as such. Something not quite as confined to the past as we might be entirely happy to acknowledge. Details on the confusingly named SENUA'S SAGA HELLBLADE 2 are thin on the ground at present, but given how the first game focused on SENUA'S journey, it may well be that the sequel will focus on how she applies her new understanding of herself into the society around her. At current, there is no certain release date yet, but it is likely not coming out until the Series X launch at the very least. After having romped around the technological world of Chicago and San Francisco, Ubisoft is bringing the Watch Dogs series across the pond to Old Blighty, where London has completed its transformation into a total surveillance state, and the people are waiting for any excuse to fight back against techno-tyranny. And I do mean any excuse, as Legion's key touted feature is the ability to recruit anyone you meet into DedSec, each with their own unique backstories, relationships, and abilities, each of whom can become your protagonist, and each of whom can die permanently, bending the story appropriately as it happens. Although the game was originally set for a March 6th release, it has been delayed, and there is no solid word yet on when the new release date is. Having drunk deeply of the well of Greek history, but finding themselves wanting more, the Ubisoft team that made Assassin's Creed Odyssey decided to dive back into Greek mythology in a new, more lighthearted game that looks more than a little bit like a Ubisoft take on The Legend of Zelda, saving the gods and gaining their abilities to explore a charmingly vibrant world or open world sounds like a good time. But unfortunately, while the game was originally slated for a February 25th release, the current schedule is sometime after July 1st, but before 2021.
I've traveled so very far to find you.
Out of the Blue's debut title is a first-person adventure puzzler, where you guide a woman named Nora on her search for her husband in a remote South Pacific island during the 30s. Billed as a tale of mystery, adventure, self-discovery, and love, the game provides tantalizing hints of taking cues from Lovecraft's theme without actually being a horror game, spending your time in your strange fascination with your discoveries, exploring a lush and beautiful island instead of going stark raving mad. The game was only just announced, and there is, as yet, no word of a release date.
Each trial, each tribulation,
Third-person space shooters aren't that common these days, and it's nice to see FISHLABS take a stab at a AAA take on the genre. While solid gameplay information is hard to come by, the ex-cultist Nara and her sentient starfighter aren't relying solely on traditional flight acrobatics and gunnery, as psychic powers like teleportation and telekinesis add a certain something to the traditional psychics-based tools at the disposal of space pilots. Not to be confused with the musical adventure of the same name, currently the game is set to be released sometime next year. Bright Memory Infinite is a remarkable breakout by FYQD Studios, as it features fluid combo-based combat and AAA graphics despite all being developed by one man. Originally intended to be released in episodes, the first of which is now available on Steam, Infinite was picked up by Microsoft and slated to be expanded out into a full-length game that will be released sometime next year. It doesn't take long at all to figure out that H.R. Geiger is one of UBISOFT's favorite artists, as their entire game is suffused in this particular aesthetic. Pulsing, organic architecture, the main character that vaguely resembles a skinned human, weapons that squirm and wiggle in your grip, and enemies that are all the more creepy for being slightly pitiable, SCORN is a game that will live and die by its art direction. A troubling development history beginning back in 2014 was hopefully cleared up by an exclusive deal with Microsoft for an Xbox Series X release, though there remains no certain release date as of yet. BLOOBER Team's newest creation is relying heavily on the hardware of the Xbox Series X for their newest release, as the central premise of their game revolves around being able to see and interact with two entirely different but parallel worlds overlaying each other. Using your second sight to see into the spirit world, you must unravel the tragedy behind an abandoned hotel resort and the visions of a child's murder. Thus far, the spirits claim that there will be a holiday 2020 release, but time alone will tell if these spirits are benevolent or malevolent. An orbital drop with an asteroid may have wiped out the dinosaurs the first time around. But as any good mobile infantry knows, at the end of the day, you've got to send the infantry to secure the planet. With mutated dinosaurs having scoured the Earth of humanity, the survivors have retreated to space and look to take our home planet with guerrilla strikes, co-op teamwork, and a wide variety of weapons, abilities, and equipment. Unfortunately, there is no known release date, and our dreams of Turok co-op will have to remain patient longer.
Thank you so much for supporting our channel. Please be sure to subscribe and keep it locked here on Game Insider.